This happened in 2018 when I was backpacking through Wyoming. I had planned to do a 4-day solo hike through one of the more remote national forests. I was following a rough trail, but most of the time I was deep in the woods, completely alone. About halfway through the trip it started raining, so I took a detour to find some cover. Eventually I came across this really old log cabin. It looked completely abandoned, like something out of a movie, but the roof was mostly intact, and it was better than sleeping soaked in the rain. I stepped inside and it smelled like wet wood and dust. The floor creaked badly, but it seemed stable enough. I set up my sleeping bag in the corner and boiled water for food while the rain kept coming down hard. That night I was lying in my bag with the fire slowly burning out when I started hearing what sounded like leaves crunching outside. At first I thought it was just a deer, but the steps were slow and heavy, like a person. I froze in place, trying to make no noise. The footsteps came closer and then stopped right outside the door. I held my breath and listened for what felt like minutes. Then the doorknob turned. It didn't open, just twisted, then stopped. Then again, back and forth like whoever was out there was testing it. Eventually it stopped and I didn't hear anything else. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there wide awake, waiting for morning. When the sun finally came up, I looked out the window but didn't see anyone around. I packed up and got out of there fast, taking the long way back to the trailhead. I don't know who or what that was, but I've never hiked alone since.
A couple of years ago, I went camping in a remote part of Oregon. I'd driven up to a secluded area in the woods where I had camped once before. It was peaceful. Nobody ever seemed to go that deep down the road. The spot was surrounded by tall pine trees, with a ridge overlooking a small stream. I parked my car and hiked in about half a mile to set up camp. It was late afternoon. I got my tent ready, gathered some wood, and made a fire. Once it got dark, the silence was unreal. No crickets, no animals, just still air and the soft sound of the stream in the distance. That night, we were sitting by the fire around 10 p.m. when we heard this sound, like metal clinking. It was distant at first, maybe 100 yards out, but it got louder slowly, like someone was dragging something through the woods. We both stopped talking and just listened. It moved around us in a wide circle, and then it went quiet. We figured maybe it was some animal messing with an old piece of junk, but it was weird and hard to explain. A few hours later, I woke up to something brush against the outside of the tent. It was quiet, but constant, like fingertips running along the fabric. I sat there, frozen, listening. Whatever it was moved slowly in circles around the whole tent. At one point, I swear I heard breathing, just on the other side of the wall. I didn't move or make a sound until the sun finally started to rise. When it was light enough, I stepped outside, but there was nothing. No footprints, no broken branches, no sign of anyone. I packed up immediately. As I hiked back to my car, I noticed something that still gives me chills. 3 deep scratches across the hood of my car, like someone had dragged their nails across it. Hard. I don't know who or what was out there with me, but I've never gone camping alone since.
My brother and I were camping in Montana, near the base of a mountain. We found this clearing just off a small trail and pitched our tent there. We were out there to fish and just hang out for the weekend. The first day was great, perfect weather, and we didn't see another person the whole time. That night, we were sitting by the fire around 10 p.m. when we heard this sound, like metal clinking. It was distant at first, maybe 100 yards out, but it got louder slowly, like someone was dragging something through the woods. We both stopped talking and just listened. It moved around us in a wide circle, and then it went quiet. We figured maybe it was some animal messing with an old piece of junk, but it was weird and hard to explain. We went to bed a little on edge. I remember lying there and hearing twigs snap outside the tent. It was past midnight, and I knew my brother was already asleep. I stayed still, hoping it would just go away. But then something brushed against the tent wall. Not strong, but enough to move the fabric. I whispered to my brother, but he didn't wake up. Then the zipper on the tent rattled. I sat up and shouted, "Hey!" And whatever was out there bolted into the woods. I could hear them crashing through the branches before everything went quiet again. We got out with our flashlights but couldn't see anything nearby. The next morning, we found footprints in the dirt, all around the tent. They weren't ours. Someone had walked in circles around our site in the middle of the night while we were sleeping. We packed up and left early. We haven't been back to that area since.